The film opens with Max and Annie meeting at a trivia night and falling in love. They host a weekly game night with their friends. During a weekly game night, Max proposes to Annie, and they get married. Max's brother Brooks is coming to town, and Max is super stressed because of it. Max and Annie have a strange neighbor named Gary. Gary asks Max and Annie if they are hosting game night, but they don't want to invite Gary, so they say that they are not hosting the game night. Brooks arrives at their house in his fancy car and offers to host a game night at his house. Brooks promises to make it the most epic game night ever. Brooks explains that the game will be a murder mystery party, and one of the players will be kidnapped. Brooks has hired a company that uses legit actors to kidnap somebody, and the other players have to find him/her before the time runs out. The actors are so good that nobody can tell the difference between the real and not real. Whoever finds the victim first will win the grand prize, Brooks' fancy car. As the game starts, they are warned that someone will try to kidnap one of them. Suddenly, some masked people break into their house and try to kidnap Brooks. Brooks fights back, but they overpower him and kidnap him. The other players cheer for the kidnappers for their ultra-realistic acting skills. They think it's part of the game and start to analyze the clues given to them to find the victim. All players are divided into groups of 2 to look for clues and find the victim. At this point, the players do not know that Brooks is kidnapped for real. Max and Annie track Brooks' phone and find it in a dumpster. They see one of the kidnappers and go to look for Brooks. Max sees Brooks held hostage and, thinking that they are actors, demands the kidnappers to free Brooks. Back at Brooks' house, one team locks the other team and traps them. The other team member uses boxes as a ladder to climb out of the ceiling window, but he falls on the door, and it opens. The second team locates the company that is providing the hired actors for the game. They try to bribe the receptionist to give them extra clues for the game. The real hired actor who lost consciousness earlier during the fight regains consciousness and tells one team that the actors didn't kidnap anybody. Now the players realize that someone actually kidnapped Brooks. The actors who are supposed to kidnap Brooks have just arrived. But Max and Annie don't know about the real kidnappers yet. They take the real kidnappers hostage and try to free Brooks. Brooks tells them that he is a smuggler, he misplaced a valuable egg from someone named the Bulgarian, and he is coming after Brooks and kidnaps him. Max and Annie don't believe him at first and shoot Brooks' gun, hitting Max in his forearm. Meanwhile, the kidnappers get free, they break into the door, and come after them. All 3 run and the Bulgarian guys are after them. Brooks jumps out of the car, and the bad guys get him. The other teams call the cops, but Max and Annie tell them not to talk to the police or the Bulgarian will kill Brooks. The whole team gathers at Brooks' house to make a plan to free Brooks. Brooks accidentally sold the Bulgarian's valuable egg to someone named Marlon Freeman, so the team now has to get the egg back from Marlon and return it to the Bulgarian. One of them points out that they could find Marlon using the police database, so they go to their neighbor Gary, who is a police officer and whom they didn't invite for the game night earlier and lied about it. The team now pretends to host the game night at Gary's house. Max pretends to go to the bathroom and uses Gary's computer to locate Marlon Freeman. The team breaks into Marlon's house and steals the egg, but they are chased by the homeowners. They manage to escape from the house, but while driving, the egg breaks and it holds a list of names. The team meets the kidnappers, and they take all of them hostage. Meanwhile, Gary arrives at the scene and takes down all the kidnappers. The team thanks him, but suddenly, one kidnapper shoots Gary in the chest. Gary is about to die, and the team is very sad. But then Gary suddenly reveals that he staged all of this because he wanted to be a part of game night, and Max and Annie didn't invite him. To prove his worth, he pranked all of them. When asked about the Bulgarian, Gary tells them that he doesn't know anything about the Bulgarian and his egg. This time, the Bulgarian actually shows up and shoots Gary. He is about to kill everyone, but Brooks eats the list found in the egg so that the Bulgarians couldn't kill them right away. The Bulgarian takes Brooks to his jet and tries to get the list out of his stomach. Max and Annie follow the Bulgarian's jet and try to rescue Brooks. They knock out the front wheel of the jet to stop the plane. Annie knocks out the bodyguard. Max enters the plane, but the Bulgarian throws a knife at Max's previous bullet injury. They fight each other, and the Bulgarian gets hold of the gun. He is about to shoot Max. Annie drops a fire extinguisher from the plane's hatch onto the Bulgarian's head and knocks him down. Later, Brooks tells everyone that he sold the list they found in the egg to the highest bidder on the black market. Max and Annie continue to host game nights, and now Gary too is invited to those games. But it turns out their game is about to be interrupted again. Meanwhile, in Gary's basement, we see the whole plan to reinstate him into the weekly game nights. Gary collected information on everyone and crafted the whole plan.